Hey Alexa, can you tell us a golf joke?
What did the ping pong ball say to the golf ball?
What?
Cute dimples.
Well, that's a primer for the vibe you're going to get on today's show. We're going to have a little fun with Ara Anton, who is the country club comedian. Let's do this.
Welcome to Private Club Radio, your weekly source for industry education, news and discussion. Broadcasting from Tampa, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, here is your host, Gabriel Aloisi.
Hey, we're back at it again. It's great to have you with me. Hope you had a wonderful Easter holiday at your club, that service was flawless, that everyone came away satisfied and happy, and complaints suck, don't they? They just absolutely suck. So hopefully somebody told you something nice. It's so rare. Everybody likes to complain. Hardly anyone ever says anything nice. So hopefully you got a little nice note in the mail or in your email or something. I know when listeners write into this show, write me and tell me that they enjoy the show or that they got something out of it. That's always so special. And that's what keeps me getting up in the morning on a Monday morning to do this show. And that's what really drives me. So I always appreciate seeing stuff like that. So anytime you want to write in and tell me how much you love this show, I will be happy to read that. No, but seriously, hopefully somebody said something nice to you or really understood the value that you gave them, because I'm sure you did. There is an incredible opportunity happening on today's show. Our guest is going to give away 100% absolutely free of charge a set of TaylorMade M4s, the driver, the 3-wood, and the rescue club. So you've got to stay tuned to hear Ara Anton, who is a club comedian, how you can actually enter that contest and win yourself a set of TaylorMades. First time anyone's given away anything of value like that on this show, and so it's going to be a really exciting one. Make sure you take him up on his offer. Well, I got a new piece of equipment in the mail today, and I was trying it out on our Facebook forum, on the Private Club Radio Listeners Forum. What I got is called a Mevo, M-E-V-O. It's a live stream camera, and it's really cool. The features are amazing. It costs about $500, but for me at least, it was well worth it because you can switch camera angles with this thing, all from one little device. You can live stream to all the different platforms. You can just record something that's going on in the room. And it's just a really cool piece of equipment. And I have some interesting ways that I think I can use that to give you more value out of this show. I'm going to start doing a little live streaming, a little live video. I want to be able to give you a peek behind the curtain, if you will. And in fact, if you come to my office, there's a little sign on the door that says nobody gets in to see the wizard, not nobody, not know how, which of course is a Wizard of Oz reference. That's on the outside of my door here at my office. But I actually would like to give you a little peek behind the curtain, as it were. And I'm going to be starting to do a little live streaming, some live video when I'm doing some of these interviews. So if you want to watch the interview live, hear all my mess ups, hear all the bumbles and all the false starts that happen on this show, I'm going to give you a little peek at that. This show does get edited. I don't know if people know that, but we take out some things, and sometimes I just don't communicate properly. It's very rare, extremely, extremely rare, but sometimes I mess up. Actually, it's quite common, in fact. In fact, if you're a longtime listener of the show, you know that this show has won an award for mess ups, and you'll have to explore our library to find out what that was. But I actually played it on this show. I think actually, if you go back to the 100th episode, I believe I played it there, or at least we talked about it there. I know I played it on one of the past episodes. We've done 100 and now 18. So I lose a little bit of track of all the cool guests and things we've talked about on this show. But it's wonderful. The podcast is a library forever of information. And so I recommend you go back into our library, dive through the archives. If you don't know, on our website, you can actually search and classify all these episodes we've done. So you could just search for food and beverage if you just want to hear about food and beverage topics. Maybe there's a membership issue at your club happening. You can just search only episodes related to membership, governance, food and beverage. All these things have been categorized for you. So if you go to the homepage of privateclubradio.com, scroll down to guests, and when you see all the headshots of everyone who's been a guest on this show, right above that, there should be a category that you can choose. Just press the button, and automatically, like magic, you'll be able to see and all the episodes categorized depending on what you choose. And it's really, really cool. All right, well, I don't want to blabber on too much because our guest has a lot of value to bring us today. Let's get him on the show. Our next guest is host, comedian, and actor, and Evans scholar. He is based out of Santa Monica, California, and a few of his credits are the film Something's Gotta Give, the TV shows How I Met Your Mother, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's appeared in major commercials for Callaway Golf and another commercial currently airing with Matt Kuchar, Davis Love, and Brant Snedeker for Workday. He tours country clubs doing his comedy at golf and fundraising events, and he's here to share a little about his act and what he's learned here with us today. Please welcome to the show, Ara Anton. Ara, how are you?
Oh, man, thank you so much. I got the Hollywood intro from Tampa.
You did.
Love it. I love it.
Well, we met out in Bel Air Country Club, your home club there. I was playing in the U.S. Amateur Preview last summer, and we got paired up together. That was really fortuitous.
Yeah, that was actually a fun group to be a part of. We had a couple guys. Actually, the two guys you played with were from the Florida area, and I actually keep in touch with those guys.
Nice.
Yeah, so if I head on out their way, I'm going to have to hit them up for a golf round at one of their clubs.
Yeah,
so,
I hacked around that day. It was really bad. It was ugly.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you raking all those bunkers for me.
Not a problem. That's what I'm here for.
But it's a gorgeous club, Bel Air, out there in Los Angeles. It's awesome. Well, hey, the first thing I want to get into with you is the Country Club comic. And how did you come up with that idea, Ara?
Well, basically, the Country Club comic is based off all my experiences of doing stand-up in the Los Angeles area. So I basically said, you know what? I am going to provide high-level comedy that respects the game of golf and the country club that I perform with stories of my experiences in Hollywood, at Bel Air, and being an Evans scholar. So basically my comedy is real life experiences of caddying and performing for the Hollywood and golf elite, which I, did at the Tradition Steak Dinner 2 straight years in a row, which is an event that is held a week of the LA Open, where all the pros are in from out of town. And then that Wednesday night, there's a big dinner at Bel Air Country Club. And for the past 2 years, I've performed there in front of, Jim Nance, Al Michaels, Rich Beam, Corey Pavin, Amy Alcott, and, other Hollywood and golf royalty. So I'm taking that type of show and I'm providing that to country club events. So let's say if you have your biggest member guest invitational and you need entertainment, you would call me, I'd come out to your club, and I'd basically do the same type of show that I did at Bel Air Country Club. So, and again, we customized the show for the needs of the country clubs. And so one time, or last summer, I was out at Wolf Run Country Club, and I was a tee greeter, so I was commenting on their golf shots. And then I went back in during the dinner portion, and then I did my act, which is 30 minutes, or you can have me as hosting one of your award shows, such as, on your last night. So again, I customize my product for whatever country club event that you're hosting or having. So that's the Country Club comic.
That's awesome. So what do you talk about in your act, Ara?
So, like I said, I talk about my experiences of caddying and performing in the Hollywood, performing for the Hollywood and Golf Elite. I talk about stories the first time I met Jim Nance. The second time I met Jim Nance, I talk about stories, about Al Michaels. I talk about caddying at certain other clubs, like this one club I caddied at, I caddied for this one member. He was so rich that when his wife's American Express card got stolen and used, he didn't even care because the thief who stole the card spent less money than his wife. So,
Nice.
Yeah. I talk about stories like that. I talk about, one caddy yard I was caddying at, the vending machines were awful. You never knew what you were going to get. So one time I took a chance. I took a gamble. I put my money in. I hit the Pepsi button, and out came a sleeve of Max Fly noodles. So then I figured something out. That was the reason why the head pro at that certain country club was the merchandiser of the year.
Nice.
And then I found out the next day he's selling Kirkland Costco golf balls in the pro shop so he can become 2018 merchandiser of the year. So
that's awesome.
I those are the stories that I tell, and I think that I cater to country club needs as an entertainer. And, if you went out and you hired your local comic or any other comic or comedian, they're going to be telling the same generic, Trump, Hillary jokes or dating jokes or, it's generic and it could be offensive. And I don't do politics. There might be something I might throw in there, but who wants a comic that comes to a country club preaching about politics?
Right.
No one wants to hear that stuff. You hear it 24/7 on the news channels every day.
Yeah.
So I cater to basically country club needs. So I'm a country club specialist when it comes to comedy because I've been around it my whole life.
Yeah. Well, I think that's important. As a general manager, you're looking for entertainment or to fill up your entertainment schedule, and I think there's a real value to that over just hiring some local comic.
Yeah,
so.
it is. And, it's funny because I was at the CMAA convention, and it's a true story. I was in my booth. I had my booth there. And by the way, that event is run so Kelly Springer from the CMAA, she's absolutely wonderful. That event is so great. It was my first year attending this year. So I'm at the CMA convention, and a general manager comes up to me and goes, "All right, you know what? We had a really bad experience with hiring a comic." I'm like, "Well, what happened?" He goes, "This guy was so bad that we hired him 2 years ago. I was almost fired, and we had 2 members of that country club, my country club, resign."
Wow.
Like, wow.
Oh my goodness. Was he offensive or something? Like what happened?
So I asked him, I was like, "So was he offensive?" He goes, "All right." He was dropping F-bombs. He was absolutely horrible. This comic must have just ate it that night. I'm surprised the guy just didn't get run out of town. So he goes, "We're really reluctant to do this." And I said, "You know what? I have a process that I go with in my consultation. If you go to Ara at countryclubcomic.com and sign up you go on my website, hit the contact button, and we do a 30-minute consultation. And I go over the 5 the 5 ways to prevent yourself from booking, a horrible comic. So I call it the 5 keys of success of booking a comic, and we check all the boxes.
Nice.
So
nice.
I'll go over the very first one. The first one is, does the country club comic or performer that you hire have insurance? Now, it's called specialty insurance. I have it. I'm covered up to $1 million. So basically, I can come to your club and do $1 million of damage. No, I'm just joking.
Right. Just breaking tables and whatnot.
Right. So, the mic's flying out of my hand. It's great. It's hitting everybody. And that's the one thing that GMs overlook is that's the very first question that you have to ask your performer or any performer that comes to your club.
Yeah.
Now, there's 4 others. I'll just cover the first one.
Sure.
Does this guy have insurance? Because if he does not have insurance and something happens, who do you think the guy's going to sue? He's going to sue the person that has insurance,
right?
Which is usually the club. So that is the number one first question that if you don't book me, that's fine. But I will go over and help you general managers out, and we'll go over this checklist that I have. And the 5 keys to success in booking a comedian or entertainment in your club. I will go over that in the 30-minute consultation. I'll just give you that if you don't want to hire me.
That's really cool. Yeah. So
I know the country club game. I've been around it again my whole life. So that's the other great thing about hiring a person like me. So
that's fantastic. Yeah. So definitely Ara at Country Club Comic. That is .com, right? .com, Ara?
Yeah, countryclubcomic.com. You go to the website. It's got quotes from the celebrities that have backed me, that have seen my act. There's a 45-second clip you can check out. And then we set up a consultation. You email me. We set up a consultation. I'll send you a privatized packet with more footage of this particular show was at Crooked Stick Golf Club in Indianapolis. I'll send you that footage, and then we'll sit down and we'll set up a time, and we'll customize your, member guest, your invitational, your stag night, and we'll talk about it, and we'll get on the same page. And with costs, we're going to fit it into your budget. Also, the other thing I suggest when it comes to costs is, if I'm in a certain area, like I'm going to be in the Midwest in June, okay? Now, in order to mitigate your costs, you could partner up with another country club, and you can basically get me for 2 for 1 if that country club is having that event going on at the same time.
That's really cool because you're already flying out there. You've already got some of the expenses that are going to be covered in one way or the other. So splitting it seems like a really good way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if for example, if I charge full rate for one, I'd give you $500 to $800 off by having me. So it's basically turns out to be a 2 for 1, and everybody's happy because
that's awesome.
I don't care about spending a week in a town if I'm going to be going up twice. That's or 3 times or 4 times, and it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it makes the trip worth it when you do that kind of thing. I try to do similar things when I'm speaking across the country as well. Just try to tie in a few consulting gigs with some clubs and whatnot. Hey, I want to ask you about, if I'm a GM and I want to protect myself from a possible train wreck comic, how do I go about doing that, Ara?
Well, it goes back to what I said, the 5 keys to success in booking a comedian or entertainment. I'll just scroll down to I did the first one, I'll do the 5th one. And then, if you guys contact me, I'll give you the 2, 3, and 4. The one thing that you need to do to protect yourself from a train wreck is this. 1 week before the event, you set up a consultation, which I do, probably 2 weeks before, and you have the comedian go over what he's going to say, almost verbatim, so you know what's flying out of his mouth. And you say, no, you're not going to use that one. No, you're not going to use that joke. No. And then you tell them, you say, these are the people that you can kind of roast or go after. And everybody else you need to stay away from. And we will point those people out to you before you get there, where they're at and who they are. If there is a certain type of roast that you want to do for, let's say, a stag night or a cigar night.
Yeah, that's super important because, some people have thin skin. Some people have got a little thicker skin than others and can have a good time with it.
Because you have to realize that this is not a comedy club. you're entering. You're entering a country club, so the rules are different.
Right.
And
Those people
as
are
a
coming back, right? Whereas a comedy club,
right.
they may show up once a year or if ever again.
Right. So as a general manager, you have to set the rules. And again, these are all the things that I go over in the consultation that if you set up with me. And like I said, if you don't want to book a guy like me, hey, totally understandable. I will help you consult to get you the best guy or woman for your event. And, it's basically a twofold thing for me. You can book me or I can help you find someone to book. So, but I don't really think there's anybody out there that does what I do. I really don't, because I was at the CMAA convention. I was the only person that was doing entertainment at that convention that had a booth. I was the only person there.
Wow. Yeah. Well, we definitely need to get some more of those people out there, but it's awesome that what you're doing are, I mean, I just, just spending around with you at Bel Air was so enjoyable because not only were you pointing out all the celebrity houses and everything, but you were cracking jokes a lot. I mean, you were an incredibly funny guy for sure.
And again, that comes from, all the years of being out on country clubs. I know how country clubs work. I know what general managers go through. I've been in the service business basically my whole life, whether it is as a caddy or as a performer. So I know how to do this, and I know, the right buttons to push when I'm on stage and everything. And it's so fun. And getting back to the general managers convention, the CMA convention, and I think we talked about this before we got on the show. It's so funny. They have these seminars for these general managers. One of them, and I'm not making this up, is called Agronomy for Dummies seminar. Remember I told you? You're
Wow.
like, no way. I'm like, so then there's one, the Aquatics Safety Session seminar, okay? And then there's another one called the Member Discipline Seminar. It's like, good luck applying what you learn at that seminar to, that train wreck member. Every country club has that country club drunk that the general manager has to deal with.
Yeah, we got about 5 of them at my club, I think.
Yeah, and the general manager never can really do anything about it because usually those drunks are on the board of directors or the rules and infractions committee, so they can never get, so it's like, why even go to the member discipline seminar? It's just, you're not going to be able to apply anything you learned there. So I was talking to somebody over at the CMAA, and I was like, why don't you have an entertainment seminar where somebody like myself comes in and I talk about the 5 key successes to booking entertainment at your club? And they're like, that's a great idea. So hopefully next year when the convention is going to be held in Nashville, I'll be able to come up and be on a panel or something like that and be able to tell all the general managers exactly how to do how to deal with entertainment and comics and all that. So
Yeah, I got to imagine that just a lot of folks out there don't have that experience. So to learn from someone like you who's in the business, that's invaluable. Now, Ara, you've got an incredibly generous gift for our audience, and I was actually shocked when you wrote me about this. But can you tell us about what you're offering if folks schedule a consultation with you?
You go online, you schedule a consultation with me at Ara at countryclubcomic.com. From now until the end of the month, we're going to put your name in a hat, in a pool, and we're going to draw it. So let's say get 10, 12, 15, 100 consultations. And that prize that we're going to draw on your show is the M4 TaylorMade Driver, 3-wood, and Rescue Club. It's all packaged, all ready to go. All I have to do is get the name of the winner, the address, and I'll ship it out to you.
Wow, that is really cool, Ara. A set of TaylorMade drivers for one lucky manager out there.
Yeah. I said, let's get a pool of people that set up the consultation, and I'll make a list of it at the end of the month. I will submit it to you, and then you can either do the drawing on air or however way you want to do it, or announce the winner on air on a certain date. And I'll send them out from Santa Monica, California. I might even throw in a Bel Air hat if I like you, right?
That's pretty awesome. Well, it's worth it just to do the consultation, because I think there's a ton of value there. So definitely recommend people check that out. Ara at countryclubcomic.com. Ara, I had a lot of fun with you, and I hope to get you back on here one of these days. Maybe do a little stand-up or something if we can get a live audience for you. But I really enjoyed this one. So thank you so much for being on Private Club Radio.
Well, thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
So you got just a little piece of that, how funny Ara can be. And I got to spend 4.5 hours plus at Bel Air Country Club with him as he was cracking jokes the whole round. Really enjoyable. But get that consultation set up. Get yourself entered into the contest. So generous of him to offer that prize for you. It's well worth the consultation, and get him booked in your club. He'll provide a ton of value for your members. That's going to do it for me this week. I hope to catch you on one of those live streams soon. I'm going to be dropping some incredible knowledge on you, so stay tuned for those. Get in our Facebook group, the Private Club Radio Listeners Forum. Just search for Private Club Radio on Facebook. And until next week, here's to your membership success.
Private Club Radio is brought to you by Concert Golf Partners, helping to preserve and enhance private golf and country clubs. Concert Golf has the capital, expertise, and private club hospitality experience to help upscale private clubs achieving long-term success and membership growth. For 25 years, Concert Golf has allowed private club members to focus on simply enjoying their club. Visit concertgolfpartners.com to learn more about the recapitalization process.